Hello, everybody. You're listening to the Big Chill Podcast. This is episode 811. Finally, Fleetwood and surging Spurs. Hello, Big Chillians. Welcome back to the Big Chill Podcast. I'm Frank, joined as always with Eddie. Eddie, how's it going?
Yeah, things are going pretty well. Had a nice weekend, and how are you?
Doing well. I think summer is almost officially over here in Minnesota. It comes late and it leaves early. The weather's actually been perfect. Today I woke up, it was like 50, 55, and then I'll get up to around 75 and sunny. So that would be about 15. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been obviously
15 to 20.
We're in the midst of planning our Breeders' Cup trip, and that's going to involve some time in Minnesota as part of it. So I was looking up, because it's going to be a little bit of a challenge in terms of how I pack. I went through this, if you remember, 2 years ago when I did California, Arizona, Florida, Ohio in one trip, and that was a real challenge from fitting everything into a suitcase. I was taking a look just to see just how cold and the chances of snow in November and what I needed to bring with me.
And what's the consensus?
So according to Google, daily temperatures range from 34 degrees Fahrenheit to 50 degrees Fahrenheit in November.
Okay, so like 0 to 10.
Rarely falling below 20.
Okay.
So yeah.
So from negative 10 to 10.
And then also the cold season lasts for 3.3 months, from November 26th to March 4th.
Yeah, it's more. I was gonna say it's a little later. It's like December, January, February that are like the oh shit, am I ever gonna get out of this? Which I guess the only nice thing about that is at least you've got Christmas in there to kind of break up the misery a little bit.
Yeah, and Thanksgiving. Those are you got two holidays where the outside temperature being a bit colder kind of ties in with the mood of the event.
Yeah. And then, hey, and maybe if you're single, same for Valentine's Day.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So, and Reddit told me November starting to get cold, but tolerable.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I think.
And it's windy and days are getting short. That was
that's the depressing part. The short days. That's going to be real depressing. But right now it is absolutely perfect. It is really nice. Which I'm actually getting a little excited for, because I don't know if you share this feeling, but I like wearing winter clothes more than I like summer clothes. Like I like the idea of a sweatshirt and jeans more than I like the idea of shorts and a t-shirt.
So definitely for going to work, I much prefer going to work in winter, because I find definitely clothes I would wear to work in winter much nicer and more comfortable than clothes I would wear to work in summer. So there, it's definitely, I still do like just throwing on a pair of shorts and a t-shirt to just kind of go out and about for the day and do nothing in particular. But yeah, I don't mind. So like here, October, November weather where it's a little bit chillier and you just need a sweatshirt on and then you're fine. Then yeah, that doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Well, for me too, it's easier to find jeans that fit comfortably versus shorts. Like right now I'm down to literally 2 pairs of shorts.
I love it because you bring this up, I don't know, let's say 2 or 3 times a year on the podcast, either when we're talking about suits or now when we're talking about shorts.
You've seen me rip like 3 suits because they're
what I love it
tight.
Is you need to remember that 99.9% of our listeners have never seen you or met you. And so the idea that they must be creating in their head of this bizarre body shape you have where it's just off the rack is impossible.
I'm like if you took the bottom half of a pear and the top half is a banana and put it together, I'm a new fruit.
I don't know if that helps.
I'm a piranha.
I don't know if that helps anyone picture anything either. But that description just makes it sound like you're really fat. Like that's the takeaway from that.
That's funny.
But yeah.
Yeah, we were going to go to the state fair yesterday, but unfortunately, I think we're going to go today. So next episode, I'll have some good updates on some of the foods we tried and how absolutely insanely packed it is. I sent you the one video. I think you saw the line for the donut stand. It was currently about an hour long.
Yeah,
At
I
the
now
time
actually
yesterday.
just how quickly my like Instagram algorithm can be impacted because I know I sent you a video of the beer ice cream, but
Yeah,
I
you're
must
screwed
be
now.
I'm seeing 4 videos a day, including people speaking about how good those donuts are. The kind of weird looking donuts.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
they look
was
good, and they look. There's something you would like because they're very traditional. It looks just like a standard donut with
yeah,
just glaze icing, you
yeah.
know.
I did have a
But
craving over the
I'm
weekend for a
sorry, I'm
donut.
not. I'm not waiting in line for an hour for you. If it were 30 minutes, I would probably do it. Just and people will be angry and be like, "Why are you in this line?" And I was like, "Because I've got to get a picture for Eddie to send to him, and just send it
but,
to him, and then throw him out."
but the point is, you say that as if I'm asking you for that picture. You want to get a picture for me to make fun of me. No one
No,
else is
deep down,
asking
you're
you.
asking.
No, I
Deep
don't
down,
need
I
to
know
see a
you're
pic.
asking.
I don't need to see a picture of a donut. If I were there, I mean, I'm not French, so I don't love lines, so it wouldn't be something that I would wait for an extended period of time. But we'll,
It's a shame that Olivier is not. It's a shame that the state fair isn't when you and Olivier are coming, because then we could just put Olivier in the line, and then you and I can go do other things, and you would be so content to
but
stand in that queue for
yeah,
hours.
that would make his day. That he would think those were the rides. He would come away from it being like, that was an incredible line experience that I got there.
We'll put him in line, and we'll just give him an iPad with different options on what plane to fly in.
Yeah, yeah. Please change your seat 10 times over the course of this line. Speaking of Instagram algorithms and getting us kind of onto the world of sport as well, my Instagram algorithm has been taken over by another weird sort of
Oh
trend,
God.
which is these like AI generated articles and stories about athletes doing nice things, and all of which are completely fake stories. So it'll be stuff like,
Oh, is the Soccer one fake?
I don't know, maybe,
I sent you one
probably.
yesterday.
Oh, but it will be things like Rory McIlroy was taken care of by this woman for the first 17 years of his life. And then he became a successful golfer and moved away, but he never forgot about her and went to visit her all the time. And eventually he bought her a house. And then it will be, it's
Poor
difficult for me to
parents.
say.
Poor Rory's parents who just got
It's difficult.
steamrolled in that AI.
It's difficult for me to say this. I know that this is an incorrect image now, but the only way I can describe it is Rory McIlroy, an AI generated Rory McIlroy with a kind of arm wrapped around what can only be described as an AI generated Aunt Jemima, you know? So as if, as if Rory McIlroy had been raised in the deep south of the United States. Like this is the only, it's such a bizarre, and it's fascinating to read the comments because they are a mixture of people saying, this is AI generated bullshit. Why am I seeing this? And other people saying, oh my God, I always knew he was such a great guy. This is an amazing, heartwarming story. She deserves it. She deserves that house.
Uh-oh, the one I sent you definitely looks AI generated.
Oh, I'm sure it's all the same. I had
It's
basically
Bukayo
this.
Saka rejects 10 million pound offer from luxury housing firm. Quote, I won't back anyone displacing families in London.
Yeah. Yeah. And I saw identical stories for Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz, which were, and I think the Sinner one might be remote, might have a grain of truth in it, but basically the story was the same for each of them, which was during their growing up playing tennis, they went to this restaurant near their tennis courts where where the owners let them eat for free. And then a year ago, the restaurant was going out of business, and Sinner / Alcaraz, one for a
Oh,
restaurant in Spain, one for a restaurant, wrote a check for 50,000 euros. Like, it's all
I
these
saw that
stories.
one too. I saw that one.
And I think they're all completely made up, and they're kind of harmless because they're always positive about the person they're about. But it's such a bizarre thing of just spreading, like, hey, you know what? I'm a big Carlos Alcaraz fan. I'm going to make up a fake story about what a great guy he is.
Oh no, see, but I think it's one step further. I think those are actually generated by his marketing team as ways to like put positive spins. I'm not joking. I legitimately think that, because I think it's getting to the point. The turning point was that stupid Blake Lively and who's the guy that they had that huge lawsuit about the film that they made
Oh,
together.
the other actor
The
who,
other actor, Blake Lively, and
yeah.
them. Supposedly, both of their quote unquote teams were just putting out fake stories, either negative or like negative about the other person or positive about that person, to try and spin the way that everyone is thinking about them. And since then, I honestly believe that most marketing teams are probably just making up fake fucking stories and putting them out there. Because like, what's the worst that happens? It'll never get traced back to them.
It turns out, sounds like it did. Because
No, because it's never been confirmed, right?
oh, and now it's them making up
Yeah,
stories about how
yeah,
the other guys are
exactly.
making up
Yes,
stories. Where
that's all
does
you have to do. It's like, why would we
this
do that? They're making up stories that we're making up stories.
the snake is eating its tail.
Yep.
Uh, Now, I guess while we're briefly then, as we move into sports, speaking about tennis, I know back during Wimbledon, you loved Daniel Medvedev's reaction to his defeat to Bonzi when he claimed, "Oh, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to play well all the time. I'm just going to play well every once in a while." So you can, when he lost, well, first round of the U.S. Open, Medvedev had his rematch against Bonzi, and he lost yet again. So turns turns out
It's
Bonzi
amazing.
is just there to play Daniel Medvedev, and other than that, doesn't do a lot.
Oh, he's just in his head, huh? That's crazy. At this point, though, he's just living rent free in his head, in Medvedev's head. That's crazy.
Yeah, it takes his record against Medvedev to 4-0, which is 3-0 in Grand Slams, all of which have been first round matchups in Grand Slams. So he's been responsible for some of, well, arguably Daniel Medvedev's 3 worst ever Grand Slam performances. He Bonzi went 2 sets up. Medvedev fought back to take it to a 5th set, including winning the 4th set 6-love. So at that point, you felt like momentum was really in his favor. He had a couple of break points. This is Medvedev in the 5th set, didn't take them and ended up losing the 5th set 6-4. There were no really great quotes that came out of it, although Medvedev was his usual self in terms of celebrating and liking to get the crowd going. I know he likes the atmosphere at the U.S. Open a lot, but he did absolutely demolish a racket at the end of the match. Just while Bonzi's on court celebrating, you can just hear in the background just a racket being destroyed at where Medvedev is sitting down.
That's awesome. What a great feeling that must be, coupled with the fact of not so great, where it's like, I can just own this very good tennis player all day, every day, but yet I can't do this to anyone else. It's like, if I could just play like this against everyone else, I'd be winning major tournaments right now. It must be like such a good feeling, and then you get back and then you lose the next round, and you're just like, fuck, man, this sucks. I can only beat this guy.
Yeah, so I kind of had a look. Now, Medvedev is in a bad run of form. So since losing to Bonzi on the 30th of June at Wimbledon, he then won his next 2 matches against Opelka and Wu, but then lost to Mute, then won his next match. But he's lost his last 3 matches in a row, including the one yesterday. Bonzi has been not great. So he beat Medvedev. He immediately lost the next round to Thompson at Wimbledon. Then he lost his next 2 matches. Then he did beat Arnaldi, Musetti, and Tsitsipas in a row, which, like, those are 3 pretty good victories, and then lost to Auger Aliassime. So arguably Bonzi has had the better summer performance overall. But yeah, definitely will be, wondering why he can't do that on a more consistent basis. But I mean, also gets a nice check. That's an extra $44,000. Well, $154,000 he gets for moving through to the second round. So
Yeah, but Eddie, when you take out agent fees and
It's
nutritionist
true.
fees and
It's not a
trainer
lot of
fees,
money.
he actually lost 50,000.
It's true. I do love, and that's not trying to make fun of tennis players because we had the good conversation with Taro Daniel, but I do love in general when you do hear the really rich athletes who talk about like, yeah, okay, I got $30 million in my signing bonus in the NFL, but you know what? It's really not that much money because you take
Yeah.
5% away from this, 10% away from this, and in the end, I only got $17 million. It's like,
Yeah.
only? Sorry, that I
It's like
didn't.
the watching the quarterback documentary. I could only buy the Batmobile, which
Yeah,
Joe Burrow bought, but
yeah.
then actually canceled the purchase, which is even funnier.
Turns out he couldn't.
Well, he could, but I think his house got robbed, so he got preoccupied.
Wasn't that a fake
Speaking
story in the
though,
end too? Wasn't that girl trying to come out as his girlfriend? Wasn't there some
no,
weird thing?
no, no, I think that's what came out of it though, was that she was the one who called the police. So then it came out that he was like having this weird affair, not affair
Not an
thing.
affair. They were both single, but she was his.
No, I think he wasn't saying. I don't think she
Oh,
was. I think
really?
at the time he was still with his old girlfriend, I think.
Because
It's a very weird story.
she was his like part of his agency.
Friend. Yeah,
The
like
girl.
friend slash
No,
like
no, she was like the representative for his agency, I think.
yeah, but
I don't
staying
know.
at
I
his
thought I
house.
thought it came
It's
out that he
really
kind of
weird.
wasn't robbed and that she just.
They skipped that part. No, no, he
Oh,
definitely
really?
was robbed. Yeah, yeah. No, no, no. They went through the robbery part, but then that other part never got brought in because don't remember they actually found the people who robbed him.
Yeah,
They
I don't know,
found
but
them.
well, maybe.
Oh, you think that's all still set up?
Yep.
Now,
Yeah.
three people are sitting in
AI.
jail for this fake story.
It's an AI fake story. All of it.
Listen, sir. I'm sorry. We know you have nothing to do with this, but we need you to just sit in the jail for 6 to 9 months.
Ghislaine Maxwell. That's what's happening to her. Nothing in the Epstein list. Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. They're just, what happened to them? Anyway, we can move on. I know you love that
Getting
topic.
back to uh finally being able to win. Maybe we can talk about Tommy Fleetwood a little bit.
Yes, Tommy Fleetwood finally got his PGA success. I don't know how many tournaments that is. You may have the number at hand. He won the Tour Championship yesterday, kind of relatively comfortably in the end. Won by 3 shots over Cantlay and Henley. Kind of
And then also won the
produced,
FedEx Cup because of that as well.
yeah. Which I get. I don't like that because this is the tournament that years past had the kind of handicapped start. And so you were a heavy, like Scheffler would have started 10 under or whatever in previous years, and they scrapped that this year. And I kind of feel like they have to have some sort of reward for your performance over the course of the season. Like,
Yeah.
whilst it was stupid that it was such a big advantage, and that obviously if you were starting even par and Scheffler's 10 under, you're not winning the tournament. But it also then feels silly that we have the top 3 in this, well, tied for top 2, but in this event be Fleetwood, Cantlay, and Henley, who've all had good seasons, but don't feel like they should be
Yeah.
crowned champions of this season-long competition.
Yeah, so the story of Tommy Fleetwood, he turned pro in 2010, and he had 163 starts before winning this PGA championship, PGA Tour championship, or Tour championship. I can't remember the official name now. I always forget.
I think it's just the Tour Championship at this stage.
Yeah, I think so too. During that time, he earned 30 top 5 finishes, 6 third place finishes, and 6 second place finishes. And in addition to that, he had won 7 times on the European Tour and won the silver medal for Great Britain in the Olympic Games in Paris. So this is the question I had for you. So up until this point, he had won, I think it was about $30 million worth of prize money, but had never won a tournament.
On the PGA.
On the
I
PGA,
think
yes.
he's won
like
on the
I just
European
said.
Tour, I think.
Yeah, I just said he won like 7
Yeah,
on the European Tour.
Yeah.
I saw articles about how his wife has stuck with him through all these hard times and this and that. And I understand as an athlete, the goal is to win, right? I fully get that. I'm 100% on board. But I feel like there's no other sport like golf where at the end of the day, if you can just consistently finish in the top 5 or 10, is it really that disappointing or much of a struggle to not lift up a random trophy, to not win like the BMW championship, but to get
Yeah.
second in that and second in the tournament before? And again, so in 15 years, he's won 30 million in prize money, not including any sponsorships, which he has a ton of sponsorships. He's all
And
decked
that's
out, I believe, in Nike and stuff.
and that's prize money on just the PGA, right?
I'm
Or is
pretty
that
sure,
it?
yes.
So that
Yes,
he
no,
also
that's
has
just the
his
PGA.
European Tour prize money, which will be a few million. So let's call it he's
Yeah.
probably won 50 million in prize money up until now. Plus, yeah, annual sponsorship deals that are in multi-million dollar sponsorship deals. And let's not forget, he's also won the Ryder Cup. So he has
Yeah.
experienced winning to a certain level. Yeah, I wouldn't care. Because I think you either need to be
I, I
absolutely
think you, Shade, real quick though, before you start, you don't care at all, or at the end of the day, it doesn't like, because I think ultimately, like, it does probably, like, if you lose a tournament, right, and you get second, you're probably like, ah, fuck, I should have won that. I could have won that. But that's different than being like, I am so distraught and heartbroken. Like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I can't keep playing and not winning.
and your wife, how am I going to stick with this loser?
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah. Does that night, do I go home and it's on my mind and you're thinking about some putts or some bad shots? And yeah, maybe for a day or two it bothers you. But then, like Tuesday, take Corey Connors, who finished tied for fourth. Tuesday, $2.6 million hits your bank account and you go, oh, you know what? Losing ain't so bad. So I think I definitely don't. I think you're right to say like winning the sort of quote unquote meaningless PGA Tour events that have no real history. Does winning the 3M Open mean a lot? Not really.
No.
And would I think differently? If we're talking about coming up short at Augusta, and having those moments where you feel like you can put yourself into, oh, I want to be at the champions dinner, like all the things that you might like. I want to have the little green jacket moment. I want to have a year where I take that green jacket around. That would be cool. But the rest of the PGA, the non sort of elite PGA events, no, just you have a wonderful career. Uh, Unless, again, the only way it bothers me is if I'm Scotty Scheffler and I'm chasing absolute greatness, and then I am thinking about I want to win X number of PGA events. I want to win X number of majors because this is going to put me in the discussion for greatest golfer of all time.
Yeah. And and I think this in particular, golf, is in a unique sport where you can just be a consistently good player, earn a very good salary, and still be recognized by your peers as being very good. Like, I don't think if you ask someone, hey, who's the better golfer, Tommy Fleetwood or this guy who's finished in the top 10 once but had a random win again at the 3M Open, right? Like, golfers and fans would still recognize that the person who plays the more consistent rounds day in and day out is the better golfer. So it's a very unique situation. And especially with the way the rankings work as well, like, you don't have to win tournaments to be high in the rankings. You just have to be consistently good. So I think that aspect of it takes away a little bit that agony of not winning a tournament. And then the other aspect, I think, is when you have a lot of individual sports, you're a lot of times playing directly against someone, like tennis, for instance. I think it'd be a lot more frustrating to not win tournaments in tennis because at the end of the day, you're always going head to head with a specific person. And like we just talked with Medvedev, right? It could be one of those things where it's like, I always get so close, but I can't beat this one fucking guy. Like, he stops me every time from winning this tournament or winning that tournament. Whereas in golf, yes, I'm sure Scotty Scheffler ruins a lot of people's lives by, winning tournaments that someone else could have won. But at the end of the day, you're kind of playing against yourself and just trying to play the best round you can. Whereas, like, you might never be as good as they could. So it doesn't matter. As long as you can be consistent and be good, you're going to be high in those rankings. You're going to earn a lot of money and you're going to get the respect. So it's a really unique sport, I think, where winning the tournament isn't the end all be all.
Yeah, like I think it's the dream job being a professor. And again, I know it's miserable if you're not Same with tennis. If you're struggling towards the bottom and you're worrying about how you're going to pay for things and you're just having to go from, one tournament to another in the middle of nowhere and trying to make ends meet, then it's a really tough existence. But yeah, if you could tell me I'm a top 25 golfer in the world, I can't think of a better life. You make good money. You can, to a certain degree, pick your own schedule within reason. You are famous, but not famous enough to be bothered. Like Tommy Fleetwood is definitely going to be recognized consistently, and his name is famous enough that if he wants to do something, like if Tommy Fleetwood wants to go to the NBA finals, he can probably get good tickets to the NBA finals. If he wants to go to the Super Bowl, he probably has enough pull through his agents and sponsors that he can get there. But at the same time, Tommy Fleetwood just walking down the road, I don't think is getting nonstop. He can go into a bar and have a beer and probably won't get bothered too much by people, and I think that's the dream. And so, yeah, does it suck a little bit? I'm sure for Tommy Fleetwood, he dreamt of being the greatest golfer of all time. And, and that's what you hope to be. But to end up being the 15th best golfer of your generation and have earned huge sums of money in the process and get an incredible life, sign me up. Like if
Yeah.
that's on offer.
I mean, for instance, right now, if we just went through the top 10 official world golf rankings, this is before, obviously, this tournament. Scheffler, Rory, Schauffele, probably all being recognized, especially Xander Schauffele now that he was, in Happy Gilmore too. Russell Henley as 4. I mean, that
Yeah.
guy's living a normal life. No one recognizes him, and he's making large
Mm-hmm.
sums of money.
At the same time,
Justin Thomas,
he has not been at the top long. I don't know if Russell Henley gets himself Super Bowl tickets, but still great life.
Justin Thomas, Tommy Fleetwood, JJ Spawn, Colin Morikawa. He must be now just rammed with acting offers. Robert McIntyre and Harris English. I mean, there are a lot of guys on there that could consistently be in the top 10 for a few years that will make a lot of money and still have pretty normal lives.
I don't know if you're allowed to call Robert McIntyre. I think he's legally required to be called Bobby Mack, according to every commentator I now hear. Like
No, it's Bob Mack. He's changing it. People can't say McIntyre.
Nice.
Thank you.
But literally every time they just call him, it's this weird, it's more the American commentators than not, but I think he's sort of following in the footsteps of Colin Montgomery, of the sort of tubby Scottish guy who then has to have the sort of nickname to go along with him. But it's also in that way with American commentators where they have to, certain names they have to give you, like this with Jokic in the NBA, they have to call him the Joker. They don't say Jokic, as if Jokic is so hard to pronounce and Joker is the way to go. And it just bothers me. Anyway, that's a tangent, but yeah, like, no, it's nice for Tommy Fleetwood. He seems like a very genuinely good person. Like every time you hear him speak, but I think he's probably going to experience today a little bit what I always describe with the England winning the World Cup or the Euros. He's probably waking up today and realizing, actually, this doesn't significantly change what my life is like, other than the fact that he made $10 million yesterday. Like that's enough money to be very impactful. But take away the prize money, I think the actual fact that he now gets to say, I've won on the PGA Tour, I don't think that's significantly impacting his quality of life, how he feels about himself, where he thinks his standing within the game of golf is.
Yeah. But for instance, again, the article headlines of Tommy Fleetwood's wife has been with golfer amid heartbreaks. It's a little much.
It makes it sound so dramatic. Like, because it's obviously not true. But other than that, what are we sticking with him with a slight disappointment of only making $2.5 million the weekend before? It's, gosh, the problems we wish to have, right?
Well, I don't know if you saw the other article though. They said pretty much it was this morning they announced it after he had won. Every time he had lost when he had gotten second place in those 6 matches, he had went to the same restaurant by his house and apparently that restaurant wasn't doing well. So this morning he went over and he gave them $100,000 check that
Wow.
saved the restaurant
What a
because
good
they were
guy.
there for him after all the second places.
When his wife wouldn't make him breakfast after he lost.
Turns
Now,
out it was IHOP.
taking a slight, I'm going to go early here on this particular conversation before we move on to more important sports talk, but just because it feeds into the wife struggle. I did watch the F1 movie finally over the weekend,
Oh,
which
yeah. Where did you watch it?
at home.
Okay. Your TV is good. Do you have a sound bar? I don't remember if you do.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's visually it's super impressive. The plot of the script is really stupid, and
It's like
if
Top Gun, isn't it?
it's maybe worse if you took away the budget behind it and you just released that exact same movie straight to TV, you would say it was an absolute garbage movie. Like, it doesn't make sense with any reasonable knowledge of Formula One. None of it makes any sense in terms of their strategy and how things play out.
But it doesn't matter, Eddie. People want to see fast things go fast.
Yes, but speaking about women loving winners and hating losers,
Oh
there's
boy.
there's the romantic story that develops between the technical director or the head of engineering at the Formula One team that Brad Pitt is racing for, and from the very beginning, a kind of romance is blossoming, but she's holding out, and because it's impossible for Hollywood to have a strong female character who doesn't ultimately have to fuck a male character. Like, it's impossible to imagine a woman who just has her job and does her job and doesn't see every good looking man as something she needs to chase after, nor could Brad Pitt as a male character interact with a woman who he works with without thinking of her as a sexual object. Like, this is impossible in the modern world. But so so
Coming from a
so
guy who's not Brad Pitt, you
no,
don't know what it's like.
it's true. But if I were Brad Pitt, I'd have even less reason to think about the people I worked with in that way, because I would have so many options available to me that why on earth would I complicate my life with a work-based romance? But the so regardless of seeing these kind of hollow versions of a strong female character, which is a shame because they actually kind of tie into this, that she's the first ever female head of engineering in Formula One. So there's this sort of thought of it of like, wow, this is real progress for women. Well, not real progress for women, because she still has to fuck the guy. But the spoiler alert here, skip these 15 seconds if you have any interest in watching F1 and you really think that this is a plot you can't predict. But at the very end, they have this poker game between him, and the other driver on the team to decide who will be like driver number one in their final race. And they're playing poker, and the other driver goes all in towards the end of this, and he flips over a pair of fives. And then Brad Pitt looks at his cards, and then he just mucks his cards and goes, "Oh, you won." And the guy celebrates and goes off. It's very obvious that Brad Pitt obviously had the better hand and has decided that this guy gets to be the number one driver. She
And
says to
spoiling
him,
the whole movie.
yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Jesus.
This is not important to the plot, to be honest with you. But she then says, they're kind of talking, kind of flirting again. And she says, well, I'm only really attracted to winners. And you couldn't even beat a pair of fives. And then he
Oh,
flips
no.
over. He flips
Good.
over his cards to reveal that he had like a pair of kings or something. And then they go and fuck, which I love. Just that she was like, I would not sleep with you. You lost a hand of poker. And then he's like, no, I didn't. It's like, oh my God, I cannot resist you now. I have never been more into a man.
They missed the line of the line of the movie. He should have flipped him over and said, "Oh yeah, how about them apples?"
That would have actually been the best piece of writing in the movie, but sadly, that level of creativity was sorely missing. Anyway, moving on. Should we get on to the Premier League action from the weekend, which threw up? We kind of said we weren't going to overreact to week one. Do we overreact to week two? Because we said, how much do we read into Manchester City's performance last weekend and Spurs' performance last weekend, with both of them playing against teams that we expected to struggle. Spurs went to the Etihad and won 2-0.
Yeah,
And
domination.
yeah, City started definitely the better and looked as if it was a matter of time until they were going to score. And then Spurs scored, and then the complexion of the match completely changed. Two pretty bad defensive errors for City for both
Yeah.
goals, particularly the second goal, which is just embarrassing. And it's hard not to come away from that. We mentioned it in the preseason preview, but just City's poor mistakes defensively are going to make it so hard for them to win the title because they just give away too many goals.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, it's still early. It's still very early. And I mean, even in, for instance, in this match, you had Foden come in very late to kind of get a feel for the grass underneath his boots in a way, still kind of coming back a little bit. So I don't want to panic yet because all you really have right there is Holland. And you can't rely. We know enough now that you can't rely on him to solely be the goal scorer. He needs help around him to set up plays and generate scoring chances, and then he's all in. But it is worrying that if they don't get back, or even when they do get back to full health and have their full amazing starting 11 out there, that they're going to need to put in 3-4 goals a match to make sure they win every time.
Certainly two. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I do not feel confident in them keeping a clean sheet. And it also was a real shame. You had Trafford coming in, who, okay, kept a clean sheet in the first performance, but wasn't really called into action. And you do have the sort of specter of Ederson hanging over him with the slightly controversial move to move on from a goalkeeper with whom you'd won the treble and who'd been, a pretty good servant. And also at one moment in time was attributed to the City's dominance was when they solved the goalkeeping issues when Ederson initially arrived. So, does that put pressure on Guardiola will he stick with Trafford on the back of the mistake that he made? Because trying to pass out from the back in the way that he did at the moment that he did was just insane. And look, I don't want to be one of those people, but I do hate the passing out from the back in the first place. It doesn't seem, I don't know what the real net benefit is a lot of the time of starting in those ways. And I know you'll have the kind of big data guys talk about how, well, it frees up positions in the middle of the park if you kind of have this, you're able to start passing the ball through certain phases and, you can exploit gaps. But I don't see that materialize very often. I don't see teams often take a short, kind of play out from the back and then break forward and score. And especially a team like Manchester City that recycles possession endlessly. So you play out from the back so that your left midfielder can pass back to your left back and then pass to your center back, who then passes to your right back. Like you're taking that risk to then ultimately probably find yourself in exactly the same position 45 seconds later. It's a little confusing to me. And you also have Holland, who's a big physical strength up front, who you could just literally hit the ball in his direction and he may be able to win a header, hold the ball up, kind of bring other people into play. But yeah, I don't know. It was a bad. I don't want to overreact because Liverpool will drop points, Arsenal will drop points, but it almost felt to the degree of, I don't think they can win the title. Like, I don't think.
Yeah.
Same old problems. Like, I can't see them being consistent over 38 matches.
I mean, I would say I still feel like the bigger overreaction from that match would be that Spurs are back and Spurs are a title contender more than, City are not a title contender. Like, I can honestly believe that City might not be title contenders now more than I believe that Spurs have a chance to be in the top two.
Yeah, well, I think top two would be the real discussion
While
with
they're
Spurs
sitting
is,
one right now.
yeah, the real discussion with Spurs is like, will they be Champions League contenders? I think that's the talk is they're off to a good start. I mean, it's indisputable. They're 2 clean sheets, 6 points, including going away to Manchester City. Like, that is a very good start to the season. Oh, yeah, it's only 2 matches, but and also really should have won the European Super Cup against PSG. They threw away that game late on and then lost on penalties. So, they're minutes away from having the this perfect start to the season. But yeah, I don't think they're title contenders. I do think they have a chance of sneaking into the top four. And look, this is a rough look. You know, you kind of make that managerial change, and it was a little bit controversial at the time of you win a European trophy and then you turn your back on a manager who's delivered this success. And well, maybe it was the right decision because
Yeah.
things only 2 games, but things seem to have improved.
Yeah. And then the other team, obviously on the top, although Liverpool's still to play, Arsenal won again to go 2 for 2, but not without a little worry as Saka and Odegaard both went out with injuries. And I'd sent to you and Ollie that I had texted Sam. This is coming off the heels of signing Eza, which brought their transfer signings this year up to 250 million pounds. And I texted Sam and said, might need to spend another 100 million pounds just in case they're not there for a few weeks, which I thought you would get a kick out of, considering you love to play the devil's advocate of Arsenal playing the we're not the team that spends a lot of money on our players, we develop our team, which made me really think about, I would love, or I'd have to find it, I'm sure I could, but it would take some time to see how many players on that club have come up through their academy and aren't just signings in the past 3 to 4 years.
Well, I'll give you the total amount of money that Arteta has spent. Why don't we start with that? And then
Okay.
regardless of how many players sit in the fringes of their first team from their academy, like you can fudge these numbers, because also the other thing too is sometimes these players are quote unquote coming through their academy, but they've been signed at 16 years old for £7 million from another academy.
Well, for instance, does it count about Eza coming through the academy? Because he originally was in their academy.
Oh,
Then
they'll
left.
claim him. They'll claim him. Arsenal Academy
Yeah.
product for sure. They'll say they'll claim him. So he has now spent. Arteta has now spent more at Arsenal than Pep Guardiola has spent at Manchester City. On the back
How
of
many
that,
years? How many years has he been there?
7 years, 6
I
years.
was gonna say 8. Okay.
So Arsenal have now spent. So he took charge in 2019. So yeah, and he has spent
Okay, 6 years.
over £670 million in that time, which is more
Actually,
than.
I'm surprised the number is not higher, because again, like I just said, they've spent 250 this year.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and in that time, he's won the FA Cup, COVID FA Cup too. So asterisks. What does it really count?
And it just has a mask on it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Like York, yes. That's why he does that celebration. He just wants to remind Arsenal fans that they only had success during COVID. But Arteta is the highest spending manager in the history of English football since in a period in which you have not won a major trophy.
Oh wow, that's a record you want.
Yes. So
I wonder if his wife's sticking by him through all this misery.
Well, Guardiola's isn't. So, but yeah, it's a lot of money, and look, Arsenal are definitely going to be quite good this season, but it's all going to come down to, I'm still unsure of up front if they've totally solved that problem, and the performance against Leeds did not make me change my mind on that front. But yeah, and also they do have some relatively injury-prone players. Saka's supposed to be out for a month. He's lucky because you've got the international break coming up, so
Yeah.
you're missing this weekend's match, and then they have 2 weeks for the international break. So maybe he only misses 2 matches, so it's not too bad. But still, you kind of have to pencil Saka out for 10 matches a season, basically. So they do need backups, but they just endlessly sign wingers. Like it's
crazy.
Like
There's no doubt in my mind, and they're going to sign at least 1 or 2 more people now that you have these potential injuries.
I mean, I just like, it's as if it's almost like having a friend who has addiction's a strong word, but like a soft spot for something where they're just overbuying it. Like, oh, Vass can't stop buying swimming shorts. Like, why do you need so many pairs? Like every time you go to a pool, he's got a different pair of swimming shorts on. And Arsenal feel that way of like, you don't need another winger. It's like, well, But if one of them gets injured or we are in multiple competitions, you know, it's and they can play in some other positions too. We can shift our formation around, and they could play as a number 10. You know, all the things that they'll talk about. I don't know. It's really strange to me. It's just 25 identical players between their first 11, like their first team squad, their under, their youth team.
Yeah, and then I guess the other talking point maybe Man United.
Yeah, kind of faltering performance, I guess, like the opposite of Spurs, where
Yeah,
you came out of the first match against Arsenal and felt kind of good about them, even though they'd lost, and then they follow that up with a disappointing draw, and the mood is not good now.
already gone.
And yeah, then you had the weird thing with Bruno Fernandes missing that penalty and kind
Oh,
of
that
blaming it on the
motherfucker.
referee, which I don't really understand exactly. I get it. He broke his sort of sequence, his
I
pre-penalty
don't care,
routine.
dude. I honestly like this is where this is coming from an American. This is where Americans lose it with football as a sport and football players. Because if you're literally going to blame that you sailed that kick fucking 40 feet over the crossbar because you slightly bumped into the ref upon your preparation for walking back from the ball on a penalty, then you are the biggest fucking wimp and are not a pro athlete, and you need to fucking get the hell out. Because
All
if
right, let me
that's
fire
if
back
that's
here.
the if that's the if that's the emotional capacity you have, that throws you off that much, that's fucking pathetic.
I do agree with you that it's a stupid excuse, but to just push back a little bit on the American side of things, the excuses that get thrown out for kickers in terms of how their timing and sequences are affected, and then also guys taking free throws in the NBA where they'll get upset if the ball gets taken, like if the ball gets sort of like passed around a little bit before they take their free throw, and how much time they have. I think people get into your routines. If he'd had it saved, like if he'd just taken a somewhat poor penalty and then he'd turned around and said, look, it did disrupt my mindset prior to taking it, I'd be okay with that. But to just sky it by 30 yards, like I don't even know if it's the ball stayed in Old Trafford. Like
Oh, I saw a great I saw a great video of it being like in the river next to the London Bridge, being like, "Oh, the ball just landed." That's a
yeah,
good one.
like you know, in those instances, I don't. There, it's hard to say the reason why you did that, but it's also strange
But here,
because Fernandez
but
rarely takes actually he kind of rolls most of his penalties. His penalties are rarely not on the ground or close to the ground. So
yeah,
the sheer fact that he's sort of gone for the top corner is already kind of strange, which maybe leans into the idea that his whole
just threw him off.
mindset.
You didn't know what to do. But
Yeah, well,
here's
no, no.
I will push back a little bit on the NFL part. NBA, I don't have an excuse. Just NBA is not real athletes either. Maybe no, just kidding. But with the NFL, if your rhythm is thrown off, like if the snap is bad or the thing is late, you can't just call a timeout, stop, and then restart the entire process again. Because like that's the difference. It's not as if Bruno Fernandez bumped into the ref and then had to immediately take the penalty. He literally went, yelled at the ref, fucking went over to him and screamed at him for walking behind him, and then completely reset and did it all again. So like you can't blame that because like you got to reset. How hard is it? And it's not. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not hard to just say, "Oh, that was fucking annoying, but forget it. I can completely redo this." Which he had the ability to do, but just could not do it.
I mean, we often speak about the need for Whoop data live in sports. What do you think his heart rate hit after when he was yelling at the referee? 280?
240.
Like, what was
We watched it live too. And because, I mean, obviously I'm a little more jaded about this because I have Bruno Fernandez on my fantasy team. And that probably just cost me the week. We watched it live. And as soon as he bumped in to the ref, I literally said, he's done. Like, he is the type of person I was like, he's done. It's over. And he fucking sailed that thing so bad.
it was an extremely bad penalty, of that there is no doubt. And there shouldn't really be any excuses. And look, the other issue here too is now if he's taking a penalty against another team, you're obviously going to have to think about the gamesmanship of how do we disrupt his sort of mindset. Like if he's this fragile, if it's this easy to get to him, then we do need someone to be willing to, get a yellow card in order to roll the ball away, bump into him, get in
Oh
his way
yeah.
slightly. Like you would have no doubt.
Oh, all day. And I forget who the keeper was, but he also then came up as he was yelling at the ref, and he was just laughing. He was like having the greatest time, being like, "Is this guy fucking for real? He's about to like punch the ref in the face for this."
Any other Premier League stories to touch on? Obviously, we're recording this ahead of Liverpool's match against Newcastle, so we'll learn more about them. It's a slightly tougher test than I guess they faced against Bournemouth, although given the situation at Newcastle at the moment, maybe not. But it will be interesting to see if they can make it
Yeah.
2 wins from 2 as well.
Great to see my boy Grealish having a good
It's
match
true. He
at
did.
the
Yeah, got 2
Everton home
assists.
opener. Two
Yeah.
nice assists, set up a lot of plays. I watched a little bit of that match. He looked really good. So that's good to see that he's out there being able to actually play again.
It's good for him. He's too good of a player to not be playing consistently. It's good for England as well, because I
Yeah.
do think he's a useful player to have at tournaments, but the only way you can justify including him in a squad is if he's playing week in, week out. So,
I think it's good for the
um,
sport too. Like he's a good person that you want to have out there. He's
yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah, he's an idiot, but he
He's
at least
genuine. Like he's
he has a
genuine in his
personality.
entertainment. Like
Yeah.
he's not an asshole. He's interesting. He's funny.
No, for sure. Now we're only weeks away from the start of the NFL season. College
Oh
football
yeah.
kind of got underway this weekend, sort of.
But next week, big
Next week
week.
it's fully underway, and it starts with a big game, right? It's Texas, Ohio State, week 1.
Yep. And Texas Ohio State and then LSU. Oh shit. Clemson. LSU Clemson. A
Yeah.
4 and a 9.
No, it should be interesting. I was reading an
I don't know.
article. I was reading an AI generated article today about how experts are concerned that Texas could blow Ohio State out. Like which I was like, what are they concerned about? Like, what is the fear here of what the repercussions are from a landslide victory for Texas?
Yeah, I mean they should. They should definitely win. Ohio State lost a lot of players, new quarterback. I mean Texas should be really good this year. So we'll see. But I mean it's Ohio State. They're not going to get blown out. AI is off on that one.
Yeah, I mean, how many? I'm not looking forward to watching Ohio State games because of the name of their new quarterback. He's Julian Sayin, and Sayin is going to be used in terrible puns relentlessly after every good and bad play. And I don't know if I can take that for an entire season.
Yeah. Well, maybe you'll get your wish. Maybe he has one bad game against Texas and they go somewhere
Maybe.
else.
But I mean, imagine he throws an interception against Texas. You're going to get just saying you shouldn't throw it there. You're going to get those over and over again. So
Yeah. And then I getting back to the NFL a little bit. I saw a stat for the Giants who had an amazing preseason. And I mean, for anyone who watched any of the Giants games this preseason, getting rid of Daniel Jones, a boring white QB from Duke, has just completely changed the attitude of this team. I mean, Jackson Dart has come in and him and crazily Russell Wilson, and I'm sure Jameis Winston has a part to doing this. The team is just excited. They're running down the sidelines. They're celebrating. They're laughing. They're jumping up, having fun. Like the attitude has completely changed. It is. I feel bad for Daniel Jones because I was never a real big hater, but it is such a bad look to see how much the morale and the energy of this team has changed in the preseason since he's been gone. It's been crazy, but they've become just the 8th team since 2009 to outscore their preseason opponents by at least 60 points. Out of the previous 7 teams, 6 made the playoffs, 2 won the Super Bowl, and they averaged 11.1 wins. So they've got some lofty goals.
I love this. I love this because, you often accuse me of biases when it comes to the teams that I support. And, what are you going to do? Predict the 49ers to win the Super Bowl again? I love that we get to have you on record getting excited about preseason records and
So
then
excited.
and then also talking about the culture change and the newfound enthusiasm that this Giants team has. And I cannot wait for them to be 0-5 and just
0-5. They're gonna be 1-9. Their record is insane. Their first 8-9 games are insane. If they come out of that with 3 wins, I'd be fucking ecstatic.
All right, let's do it. We'll do the thing that everyone has to do.
I've done it with my dad on 3 separate occasions on the phone already.
All right, so let's go through it. They kick things off week 1 at the Washington Commanders.
Loss.
0-1. Week 2 at the
Chiefs.
Dallas Cowboys.
Oh yeah, Cowboys. Loss. Then the Chiefs for the home opener.
Home against the Chiefs week 3.
Loss.
0-3. Home against the Chargers week 4.
I'll be generous and say win, although I think it's a loss.
Okay, so you have them 3-1 heading into
1-3
at the Saints. Sorry, yeah.
The Saints, they can win.
Yeah, the
Saints could be the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah.
2-3.
So 2-3. Home for the Eagles.
Loss.
2-4. At the Broncos.
Loss.
2-5. At the Eagles.
Loss.
2-6. Home for the 49ers.
Loss.
2-7. At the Bears.
The Bears could be better than people think, but let's be optimistic. Let's go win.
So that's their first. Oh no, second. So their second road win. They only have 1 home win under your predictions. So it's at 3-9.
3-6.
3-7. 3-7.
Okay.
Week 11. Home for the Packers.
Loss.
So 3-8. Week 12 at the Lions.
Loss. That's one of the hardest schedules in the NFL. It's insane.
3-9.
Insane schedule.
3-9. Week 13 at the Patriots.
I'll give them a win.
4-9. Week 14 bye. Week 15 home for the Commanders. 4-10. Week 16 home for the Vikings.
Loss.
Really? Wow.
Tough defense. Their defense is so good this year.
4-11. Week 17 at the Raiders.
Win.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. So what's that?
5-11.
5-11, and then they finish things off home for the Cowboys.
Well, it can't be 5-11. Isn't there? Oh yeah, 16 weeks.
17 games.
5-12.
5-12.
That's optimistic. That's winning every game that they should win.
I think their over/under for the season is 5.5. So you've come in.
I can see it.
You've come in, and because it's possible to look through that. I mean, for example, week 2 at the Cowboys, would it stun me if they won that? No. Like the Cowboys, I think the Cowboys are going to have a little bit of a bounce back year this season, but the Cowboys could be a dumpster fire again. So that could be a win.
You could maybe split the Cowboys. You can maybe split the Commanders, depending on if Jaden Daniels is healthy or not. I think that's obviously a big thing that you have to look at with Daniels.
You have them winning 2 home games.
Yeah.
So you have them beating the Cowboys in week 18 to finish the season off, which is probably neither team's starters involved. So what a glorious home victory that would be. And then you have them actually, I think, kind of controversially beating the Chargers in week 4.
I had to give them one nice win.
Yes, but what that also raises, which is with the difficulty of their schedule, it's possible they don't win a home game. Like wouldn't be a surprise.
I'm fine with it this year. Like, I'm already invested into next year. I think the energy level has changed on this team. As long as they can do enough on the field to keep the skill players happy so that they don't want to leave, and you can buy into this is a 2 to 3 year commitment here. But this year, we push through. We let Jackson Dart learn. Maybe he comes in second half of the year, play some games. You get another decent draft pick going into next year to bring in another person who can instantly contribute. And by next year, you have a dynamite team. You have Jackson Dart and Malik Neighbors and probably another good skill player up front. Your defense is stacked. Like this is a 2-year rebuild here.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting, right? Because
They're going
if
to
you're
be a
happy
tough
with
team to play, though.
because you have a couple pretty good-looking quarterbacks potentially in the draft next season, including, I
They're
mean, the
not going to
big
go for another
one.
quarterback.
Really? So if Arch Manning, who is saying that he'll play 2 seasons with Texas, like start 2 seasons, so won't be in the draft next year, but who knows? That could change. But especially, could it change? Like, would it be appealing to the Mannings, who we already saw manipulate with Eli Manning, where he ended up? Would he be interested in being the New York Giants quarterback and kind of following in
Of
the
course.
footsteps of his
Oh,
uncle?
for
So,
sure.
like, if the Giants have the number 1 overall pick, which, based on your prediction for their schedule, is not out of the question. You don't, and Arch Manning is flirting with the idea of being in the NFL?
Yeah, if it goes that badly that they have the number 1 pick, that means they
Or
actually have
Arch,
to have
yeah.
probably 2 wins. Because I don't think the Saints win more than 2 games. I mean, the Saints are atrocious
Or the
this year.
Browns.
So, or the yeah, 3 wins probably gets you the first pick. If they're in the driver's seat in the first pick, maybe they take Manning. Depends on how Dart has done, because obviously at that point Jackson Dart has played. If it's gone that bad, so
Yeah.
would have to see how he looks.
Well,
If they get the number 1 pick, I think they would take Manning because of the whole Manning legacy. But at the same time, you could probably trade out of that pick and get 2 good first round picks. And if you think if Dart played well despite them losing all those games, I love the scenarios we're playing out here. We have
I know. I
we've
want it
already
on
played
record
out
too.
the year hasn't even started yet. We're already playing out a scenario upon which the Giants play
I want to
really
just dig
well,
into your mindset
yet
a little bit
not
here.
well enough to
I
win
just want to
any
dig a little
games.
into your mindset here, because so if they have a season as bad as you predicted, then Dart is definitely starting. So let's say because you got to buy week 14, which makes it a little bit hard, because in an ideal situation, you might transition to him in a bye week, but probably they're doing it before that if the season's that bad. So let's say they picked the Chicago Bears week 10 as like, this might be the easiest introduction for you that we can give you. Based on your prediction for the season, he then loses his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. His first 7 games, he's 0-7, heading into week 18 against the Cowboys, a meaningless game, where the only thing might be, if we win this, we lose the number 1 overall pick and the prospects of Arch Manning, and then you think he maybe picks up his first win. I actually, you know what? That would be
I
the
love
most
that
New York.
storyline.
That might be the most New York Giants thing. I want to try and pencil. I want to see if I can get a bet on now for Jackson Dart to throw for over 500 yards in week 18 against the Cowboys.
I love that storyline. It's a good storyline. Yeah, there's a lot of hypotheticals there. I mean,
I just love that. Let's say they did have the number 1 overall pick, and that's how it's gone. They finished with 3 wins, but they've got the number 1 overall pick. And then, based on your mindset, people be asking them, "Are you going to take Arch Manning?" And then they have Jackson Dart, who's gone 1-7, or it would
But
go, "No, we love
listen,
what we saw from him."
Drake May had 2 wins last year, and he was in the fucking Pro Bowl. Like,
Yeah, but
you can play really well and not win games because the team around you just isn't ready yet.
all right, Tommy Fleetwood, keep telling yourself that.
It would really depend on how Dart does going into those like 6 weeks.
Yeah. But man, those are some great preseason results.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Oh.
I just like to see at least the players themselves be interested in the game that they're currently playing, because the last few years I've watched Giants players like not even realize they're playing an NFL game. It was sad and pathetic to watch. So to actually see a team that's excited to play football, that's how low it's gotten, and that's how bad it's been for the past few years. So I am excited that they are actually excited to play the sport for which they call their career.
Now you're getting excited about preseason. You know who didn't get excited at all about preseason was Aaron Rodgers.
Family? Oh.
Aaron Rodgers, who did not play a single snap for the Steelers in preseason. So gone to a new team, new playbook, new teammates, and just didn't get a single live snap in preseason. I get that he's 40 years old, that you don't really need preseason to kind of get up and running, but it does seem strange to me that you wouldn't at least take some opportunity to get a drive together just to kind of run through, try and, get rid of some of the rust and feel like what it's going to be like in that system, what play calling is going to be like. I know you can do all of that in simulated environments but it's still not quite the same. It just surprises me as a move.
Well, I think the issue is they're probably have a literal snap count till when his body just explodes. So he probably only has about 200 snaps left in his body. So you can't waste any of them in preseason. He is on a literal body snap count.
Yeah, I mean, it's because they do have a good-looking team. I know you hate the Steelers, and I know you're going to not allow us
They don't have a good-looking
to.
team. They look terrible.
Well, you got the addition of DK Metcalf.
Yeah, but then they don't have a second receiver.
Calvin Austin III.
I would have taken a second, but
Robert Woods. Like, it's not terrible.
Robert Woods.
Yeah, he's
still
third on
playing.
He's third on their depth chart at quarterback. Decent tight end.
Yeah, they got Freiermuth.
Like,
yeah, but Aaron Rodgers is washed, dude. He's not going to be good.
Oh no, we both think that Aaron Rodgers sucks, but it's just like I actually would feel reasonably decent about this team if they just still had Russell Wilson. Like if you just told me that this was they're rolling it back with Russell Wilson and they've added DK Metcalf, like because.
But who's got Russell Wilson, Eddie?
Yeah, I do.
The high-flying, explosive New York Giants. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, look, maybe this is like an Arsenal strategy. Are you gonna play 6 quarterbacks at once? Like, is that what the Giants and the Browns are gonna do? It's just like as if it was out of a movie where you're gonna snap the ball and you're not gonna know which quarterback is actually gonna pass it. Like, just
I love that idea.
3 guys standing next to each other, they lateral to each other before someone throws it deep.
I love it. I will say, I think we are both adamantly on the record that Aaron Rodgers is done. But I am so sick and tired of hearing Bill Simmons talk as if he is the only one that predicted Aaron Rodgers is not a good NFL player anymore. Every time. Oh, I said last year it looked like he didn't want to get hit and he's just not the same player. Yeah, of course. Everyone fucking said that. You know why they said that? Because when he drops back, he would just fall and not do anything. Like it's not as if you have spectacular vision or something like that only you could have seen this.
Well, let's do this then. This is the only other time we're going to do this. Let's see, can Tomlin keep his over 500 record going?
God. This is an insight into our NFL preview.
Yeah, they kick things off at the Jets.
Wait, are you wanting just me to do this?
Just or we can kind of agree on it. So
okay.
At Jets week 1.
I think they can beat the Jets actually.
I think they could. Yeah, let's go 1-0. Home for Seattle.
Loss.
I'm happy.
I think Seattle's getting better.
Yeah, 1-1 at New England.
Give them a win.
Yeah,
I think New England's getting better though too, but I'll give them a win.
2-1. Home for the Vikings.
Loss.
2-2. Home for the Browns. I guess we'll say win.
Yeah, but we're already giving them too many wins.
There, 3-2. And it's super useful for Aaron Rodgers. Week 5 bye. That's just when his old body needs it.
1 month in.
So 3-2. At the Bengals.
Loss. Yeah, once they get into their division, they're screwed.
Thursday night game at the Bengals. So that's 3-3. Big one for Aaron Rodgers. Monday Night Football.
Loss. Packers.
3-4.
Loss.
Home for the Colts. I think they win that. Colts are going to be bad.
Yeah, they got no quarterback.
Yeah. 2 teams without a quarterback.
But here's the issue, though, is you're giving them a win on every 50-50 game already.
I don't think those are 50-50s. Like we've just spoken about how we think the Browns might be in contention for the number 1 overall pick. So like I just think you have to assume they beat the Browns both games.
And the Jets and
the Jets is the only 50-50 we've
and the Colts.
and New England.
I don't think the Colts are much. How are the Colts much different than the Steelers?
Well, I think they're worse. We'll find out, right? But so that's what. That's 4-4 at the Chargers.
Loss.
4-5 home for the Bengals.
Loss.
4-6 at Chicago.
Loss.
All right, 4-7 home for the Bills.
Loss.
4-8 at the
Aaron
Ravens.
Rodgers might be dead after that game. Oh no, wait. He survives to play the Ravens and then he's dead.
4-9, so that's goodbye 500 record. They're then home for Miami, which I think Miami's going to be bad. They are. That's 5-9.
Okay.
Home for Lions.
Loss.
5-10. At the Browns, win. 6-10. And then this
Home
is
for
the key one, though.
Bears.
They play Ravens final week, which it could be the Ravens resting all their starters. So I think I'm going to say win.
Okay, what's that put them at?
7-10.
That's generous.
I don't think it is. We gave them some 50-50 losses there, like at the Bears. I think that's a 50-50 loss.
Maybe.
And you had the Giants beating the Chargers, but then you had the Steelers losing to them. I'm not sure the consistency is there from a prediction standpoint. Like the Steelers are going to be better than the Giants.
What? Oh my God. Try to look at the over under here for this.
8.5.
Oh my God. Hammer the under. Oh my God. I'm going to put my life savings on the under 8.5.
I mean, it seems risky, but go for it. Their odds to win this.
That means we'd have to get them 2 more wins than we did.
Yeah.
You had them at 7-10.
Yeah, so they'd have to beat, let's say that means Chicago and the Chargers. Those are the only like on paper wins that make sense. Now, obviously,
and again, that's them also winning every game that's a 50-50 or slightly over. That's no hiccups.
What are their odds? What do you think their odds are to win the Super Bowl?
22-1.
40-1.
Generous.
Same as the Bears. The Giants are 175-1, in case that interests you.
What are they for next year?
The Saints 400-1, the Browns 300-1, the Jets 250-1, Titans 200-1, and Giants 175-1. And I mean, if you use that as an indication of like who should the Steelers be beating, then obviously you would say the Browns 2 games based on, if we use just those future odds, they play the Browns twice, they should beat them. They play the Jets once, they should beat them. So that's 3 wins. Other than that, they play the Colts, who are 100-1. So that's 4 wins. They play the Dolphins, who are 80-1. That's 5 wins. They play the Patriots, who are 75-1. That's 6 wins. They play the Seahawks, who are 60-1. That would be 7 wins. That's it. So we actually end up. Oof. So we actually end up at 7 wins, either through our just using future odds as an indication of who would be favorites, and also just how we pick through it. But obviously, this is also not factoring in. The good thing going for the Steelers is I don't know if Aaron Rodgers getting hurt makes them a worse team, but they could also be they could suddenly be playing against, Herbert's injured, and now the Chargers are a much easier proposition.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that about most teams.
Well, you could and you couldn't, because again, for the Steelers, I don't know if any single injury is going to be the thing. Like DK Metcalf is the only injury to me that if you told me, oh, Metcalf's out, I really feel like my idea of them changes significantly. Whereas,
what if I told you Aaron Rodgers is out because DK Metcalf put him in a coma, and now Metcalf's got a 5-game suspension?
Love it. That tells me the team is fixing itself. But yeah, but if you've enjoyed that content, we will be doing our full NFL season preview next week, I suppose. And we won't just be doing win-loss schedules for every team.
We'll be doing that for every team.
Yeah, we won't be.
Win, loss, win.
And then also undoubtedly forgetting what we said for one team versus the other. So
Yeah,
predicting both sides to win a game in different predictions.
that would be actually quite a challenge to try and remember every prediction you had as you went through.
It's a good mental exercise.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get your,
Any
what is that called?
any
Your memory box? No, your memory
memory
house,
palace.
memory
Yes.
palace.
Yeah.
For me,
Aaron
it's just
Rodgers
a
lives in my
box.
memory palace. Yeah. Yeah, for you, it's just a box and it's empty. Any other sports related topics to cover?
No, actually, speaking of football, we like to joke about the best places to have a beer. We always talk about train beers and how people love train beers. And there's that list of like the best. What was it? The best 9 beers you can have, or something like that. Ben DiNucci, who is a wandering quarterback in the NFL, had
And
probably one of the better.
entrepreneur.
Yes, had one of the better tweets I've seen in a while. He said, "Not many beers better than the airport quote, I just got cut from the NFL for the 7th time beer." Trust me, you wouldn't understand. That's a pretty good tweet.
It's not bad. Not bad.
And then obviously the picture of the beer at the airport as he just got cut by the Atlanta Falcons.
My only final sporting related topic, I suppose, I did see Serena Williams on TV speaking about her weight loss.
Ozempic weight loss?
Yeah. Which, I mean, whatever. If you want to, if that's what you want to do. But I do find it because on Fox and stuff, these people who are so anti-vaxxer, like, I need to know what I'm sticking in my body. Meanwhile, just inject me with Ozempic, and who knows what the long-term implications of that will be. But, like it's a weird juxtaposition of who's now in favor of at will sort of medication versus mandated. But there we go.
Yeah,
Epstein and vaccines. Not many people thought I could do that in the same episode.
I believed in you. She did look pretty ripped. She had like a 6-pack going. Anything outside of sports? I actually don't have much in the way of television. We already touched on F1, I guess.
No, yeah. Obviously, I was traveling a little bit, so didn't watch as much TV as normal. And sports are back, so that also eats up more of my normal like TV watching time. But no, I did have another sauna incident at the gym.
Maybe we should just stop going in the sauna.
I'm hesitant to tell this one, but it's
boy,
a little bit gross in some ways. But I was in the sauna with one guy, and he farted and then just apologized for farting in the sauna. And I thought, this is like a big no-no. Like, you could have just walked out of the sauna here. But unfortunately, it didn't really smell, so he could have probably got away with it. But
good thing it didn't like steam up.
It could have been awful. I mean, just the heat environment, just terrible situation to do it in. But.
That is cruel. I hope that's his thing. Oh, sorry. I almost never do this.
He's got his own podcast.
Yeah.
It's called Sauna Farts. That's all he talks about.
That's actually pretty funny. Yeah, you just got to get out of the sauna. At least it wasn't a steam room. Then it would have liquefied.
Yeah. Well, they do also have one of those, so it could have been there.
I know.
He probably went there right after. But no, hey, look, I'm even choosing hotels now based on who has a sauna. So.
Oh, God. You're becoming like one of our friends who is a sauna fanatic.
I've always enjoyed a sauna. It's not a must-have for me, but I do quite enjoy after a workout going in the sauna.
I'm surprised, since you're such a sauna enthusiast, you don't say it the proper way.
Sauna?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going that far.
We actually had discussed this last night because I had mentioned off podcast we're watching a lot more UK television, and when English people say the Spanish words with the lisp thing, it kind of drives me insane. It's like, you don't have to do it. Like, you're not Spanish. You don't have to say Ibiza. Just say it. Just say it how you would say it in the English language. Like, don't try and be so like nice about, like, oh, we respect everyone's culture. So this is the one thing we'll say is the Z in Spanish. We'll do the list.
I do generally agree with you that it's super pretentious to try and pronounce things. However, with Ibiza, no one in England would ever say, well, I mean, not no one, but you wouldn't, saying Ibiza, you would come across as such an incredible idiot that people just say.
What about chorizo?
I say chorizo if I'm speaking
Yeah.
English. So yeah, I'm not thuffing my way through chorizo, but or chorizo maybe. I might soften the ch depending on who I'm speaking to. But yeah, no, I agree with you in principle. Ibiza's a tough one though, because
So annoying.
it's the same way I hate when people say Milano instead of Milan and all those things. Just say the word in the way, like I don't say I live in Paris, like it's it's okay to say it the way you say it in your language, but I think at this point Ibiza is the way English people would say that, and it
All
gets
right, I
said a
guess
lot.
I know it
Like
does.
it's a word you hear a lot. So
It is. All right, I guess with that we'll call it a day. I'll talk
sounds
to you
good.
later.
See ya.
Cheerio.